Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I had a baby a couple weeks ago and I wanted to tell you how he got here. So just a little bit of like backstory. We do have two older kids. One is 6 and one is actually 5 today. Today's his birthday. And we thought we were done. We thought that was all we wanted was 2 kids. And we were very happy with that decision. Obviously, things changed. My husband had gotten a vasectomy after our second kid, and I somehow convinced him to get a vasectomy reversal. That happened. And then 7 months later, we have that little guy. So he's truly a blessing, a miracle, and we love him so much. So anyway, to the birth story. We were actually scheduled for an induction on Friday, July 19th, super early in the morning. And we had to wake up at least an hour earlier to call ahead to make sure that they had a bed for us. We did that, and unfortunately they did not have a bed for us. It was apparently crazy. That was also the day that like systems everywhere were down. I don't know if you guys remember that, but systems nationwide were down. That obviously pushed things back. Every pregnant mom ever decided to go into labor that day, naturally, so did not have a bed for us. So basically we were just supposed to wait on a call of when there was a bed available. So we waited literally the entire day. I ended up calling halfway through the day just to make sure they didn't forget about me, and they didn't. They were just super busy and it was chaotic and stressful, and yeah, just didn't have a bed. So she told me to call again in 3 hours. I waited 3 hours, called again, and same thing, nothing changed. After that, she said, don't call, we'll definitely call you. You're on the list, you're next on the list. Whenever we have something available, we will call you. So it ended up being the middle of the night that I get a call. I had my phone on loud, so I obviously woke up and heard it, and I like jumped out of bed. And they were like, we have a bed ready for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Surprisingly, everybody that we were gonna call, like my family and stuff, they were all awake. So that's cool. We let everybody know we're going to the hospital. We'll let you know when things like start moving along and all of that. So at that point, I'm like shaking from the adrenaline because I like jumped out of bed when they called me, and I was like, I don't know, like you get nervous when you realize this is actually happening. There's a little bit of anxiety there, but I was super excited as well. We go in, they check me in, everything's going well. So at 2:30 a.m. they started me on the Pitocin, and this was about like an hour after we got checked in and everything, and I had been on fluids and stuff. So then they started me on the Pitocin, and by 4:30 is when I started feeling my contractions. Apparently my body was already starting to contract naturally. I just didn't really feel them. I mean, I felt them, I knew they were there, like I could feel it in my chest, which is a weird thing to say, but like I could feel like the tightness all up in my body, but I couldn't feel the pain. So by 4:30 I started feeling the pain, but not super bad. It was like very manageable. And then around 6 a.m. my pain started to get worse, like to the point where I was like, well, I think now I could get an epidural. She had told me I needed to wait on my second fluid bag to drain completely before I got my epidural. Oh baby, what's going on? What's going on? I gotcha. So she ended up having the fluid bag drain faster because it was obviously like just a slow drip. They sped it up, and I'm just sitting there waiting for that to drain, and I'm like, oh, I need it to drain. I want my epidural before it gets too bad. That ended up being fine. The pain was starting to get worse, but not like to the point where I was like, this sucks, I cannot do this. That was at 6, and then around 8 is when I finally got my epidural. Okay, so after the epidural, I was feeling really good, obviously. It was working, I felt great, got the catheter in, didn't feel it, all that fun stuff. So I was feeling pretty good. So I'm just like, it's just a waiting game at that point. And I was expecting things to be moving along pretty quickly because my babies come fast. But then I started feeling this weird pain in my leg. It was manageable, like it didn't hurt, and I was like, this is weird. Every time I get a contraction, I feel this pain in my leg. So it was like definitely related to that. Every time I had a contraction, something was happening and I felt it in my leg. But I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, this is fine. It doesn't hurt that bad. Like I can deal with it. But then it definitely started getting worse. As my contractions got worse, this leg pain got worse. And it got to the point where I was feeling super nauseous. The pain was so bad in my leg. It felt exactly like a contraction, but it was in my leg, which is the weirdest thing ever. So we ended up having to call back in the anesthesiologist. I think I said that right. And she was like, oh, okay, we'll get this under control. First, she like adjusted my catheter because it might have been pressing on a nerve, which made the contraction pain, like every time I had one, push on that nerve and it went to my leg. So she thought that was the problem. So she moved that a little bit and then she gave me some more medicine through my epidural. And by that point I was completely numb. Like the first time I wasn't super numb, like I couldn't feel anything. I could move my legs a little bit. They just felt heavy. But this time I felt absolutely nothing. I could not move my lower half at all, which was fine. Like I was fine with that because the pain in my leg went away. That was glorious. And then pretty much immediately after that pain went away, I was at 10 centimeters. I felt the pressure pretty much as soon as the pain went away. There was like a random nurse that came in. I don't even remember what she did. She was doing something like maintenance, something. And she asked me if I needed anything. And I was like, well, actually, I kind of feel pressure already. And I just want to make sure that things don't happen without my doctor here. She ended up checking me and she's like, yeah, you're out of 10. So let me get everybody back in here, which I'm actually used to happening as soon as my body like relaxes from anything, like I'm ready to go. So that was nothing new to me. So they come back in, the on-call doctor arrives. I let him know that I couldn't feel anything like at all. I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to push because I'd never been like that numb there before. So he was like, well, let's do a few practice pushes and see what happens. So I do that. I don't know if I'm pushing or not, but apparently I am because he's like, yep, let's get gloved up and get you ready to go. And I'm like just all smiles at that point, probably because I couldn't really feel anything. That was great. I couldn't feel any pressure or pain or anything. So I'm like, oh great, I can push. And then literally like 10 minutes later, he was here. Like I pushed for like 10 minutes total and he was here, and that's the fastest a baby has ever arrived. So when they tell you that every time you have a baby, they come faster, they mean it. My daughter came fast. My son came faster, and this little guy came even faster. But unfortunately, I mean, no, it's great that he's a big healthy baby, but he came out at 9 pounds even. That is the biggest baby I've ever had, and I tore quite a bit. But he is my big healthy baby and we love him so much. And I feel like the whole labor and birth process went pretty quickly. So I'm thankful for that. And I feel like it was a pretty positive experience. So I hope you guys got something out of it. And honestly, if you've ever had that weird leg contraction pain or like contraction pain in like a part of your body that isn't normal, let me know because I'd never heard of that being a thing before. But I will show you him. I'll show you his face. This is my Micah. He's so cute. He's got the hiccups. And he is the addition to our family that we never knew that we needed until we had him. Also, I just want to point out that this pajama thing he's wearing is 3 months. 3 months. He is literally not even 3 weeks yet. And this is like short on him. What in the heck? We went to his first doctor's appointment. He is 90th percentile for his weight, and she said he was like off the charts for height. So we're gonna have a tall kid, and I will go ahead and show you, if he'll let me, my belly postpartum. And I'm actually gonna insert what my belly looked like at 38 weeks, the last like bump picture that we took before we had him. So that's there, and now I will show you my belly almost 3 weeks postpartum. Yeah, as soon as I put him down, he started crying again. He's just in that kind of mood, which is okay. But I will go ahead and show you. That is my belly postpartum. It's a little bit, it's mostly gone down, but it's a little bit squishy still. All right, that's it. Bye. Bye-bye. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I want to hear your birth stories as well. And if you have like recent birth stories on your channels, let me know because I want to see them. I love watching videos like that. Introduce yourself in the comments. Would love to meet you and get to know you. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.